Today we're going to talk about multiplying polynomials. So when we multiply polynomials or monomials, in this case, we're always going to multiply exponentials. Well, if you look back in your notes, there was a rule for that. The rule was the product rule for exponents. So that rule was if the bases were the same, to keep the base and add the exponents. So let's look at the first example. When we have an example like this with a coefficient, we just multiply the coefficients separately. So -6 times +3 is -18. Now we look at the exponential. So x to the fourth times x to the third power, they have the same base, so you keep the base and add the exponent. So that's x to the seventh. Let's look at another example. Once again, we're going to multiply coefficients. There's a 1 there, so 6 times 1 is 6. This one has two different variables, so you only use the variables with the same base. So x to the first times x to the fourth. 1 plus 4 is 5, so that's x to the fifth. And then we look at the y. So y cubed times y squared. Keep the base, add the exponents. Now, let's look at an example of multiplying a monomial times a binomial. Looks very easy because you've already done it. We know that to multiply this, we're going to use distributive property. So 3 times 6 is 18. 3 times x is 3x. Example 3. The only difference with this problem is that the 7, the monomial, is on the right side of the expression instead of the left side. Doesn't matter. If you want to move the 7 to the left side, just move it over there so it's in the form that you're used to. Otherwise, just do distributive property like it is. So 7 times 3x, 7 times 3 is 21x, and 7 times -5 is -35. You try. Pause the video while you're working it and then start it back up when you're ready to check. Okay, so distributive property, -4 times x, -4x, -4 times -2y, -4 times -2 is +8y. We're flying through this because it's really easy. All right, this one's a little more complicated because it has two variables, but that's okay. We're going to do the same thing. Distributive property, 4 times 3, do the coefficients first. That's 12. That has an exponent of 1. So we just do the x's because they have the same base. X to the first times x squared. 1 plus 2 is 3. So that's x cubed. Y times y, y squared. Now let's multiply times the second term. So 4 times -2, -8, x, y. Now you try. Okay, let's check it out. So we have a negative times a positive. So a negative times a positive is negative. A to the first times a cubed is a to the fourth. And then we bring down the b. Distribute again. Negative times a negative. Positive. A, bring down the a, and then b to the first times b cubed is b to the fourth. Well, that's the lesson for today. Pretty easy, huh? So just look back at your notes if you need to remember how to do the property of exponents.